Squid Game Season 3 left viewers with a lot to think about, but one of the most jaw-dropping and disturbing twists came from none other than player 333, also known as Myung-gi. His transformation from a seemingly innocent and unlucky man to a full-blown villain was slow, creepy, and ultimately horrifying. And what's even more mind-blowing is that this entire time, one of the most hated characters from the previous season, Thanos, was right about him. Thanos had been warning others about Myung-gi, accusing him of being the reason why many of them were in the game. At the time, it seemed like Thanos was just being his usual aggressive self, but as Season 3 unfolded, it became painfully clear that he saw something others didn't. Myung-gi had always been rotten underneath that soft-spoken exterior. Back in Season 2, Thanos picked on Myung-gi alongside Namgyu, and while it seemed cruel, there was a reason behind the bullying. Thanos wasn't just being a jerk, he had a personal vendetta. According to Thanos, Myung-gi had a direct hand in ruining many lives. While that sounded like an exaggeration, the events of Season 3 confirmed it was absolutely true. Myung-gi's past came to light, showing that before ending up in the game, he had a popular YouTube channel where he promoted a cryptocurrency investment scheme. He had thousands of followers, many of whom trusted him blindly. Instead of offering real financial advice, he used his platform to push a fake crypto scam, cashing in on his followers' trust. The worst part? He disappeared the moment everything crashed, leaving everyone, including his pregnant girlfriend Junhee, to suffer the consequences alone. This wasn't just about a financial scam. Myung-gi ran away from every form of accountability. Rather than stay and face legal punishment, or even just apologize, he vanished into thin air. And now, in the twisted world of the Squid Game, he saw a second chance, not to redeem himself but to get rich again. For someone who wrecked so many lives, you'd think the games might spark some self-awareness or remorse, but instead Myung-gi showed he hadn't learned a thing. In fact, he got even worse. When he found out Junhee was pregnant with his child, you'd think he'd want to protect her. But no, he tried to manipulate her into giving him her potential prize money. He said he had contacts who could help them invest again. Same scam, same mindset. He wasn't worried about her or the baby. He was focused on money and status all over again. The moment Junhee heard this pitch, she immediately knew that the man she once loved was gone for good. She realized that Myung-gi saw her as a stepping stone to rebuild his financial empire, not as someone he genuinely cared for. That heartbreaking realization led her to emotionally disconnect from him. She had probably held on to a small bit of hope that he could change, especially after their reunion in the games. But Myung-gi shattered that hope with his greedy words and shady plans. And it wasn't just Junhee. Others in the game started seeing through his innocent act. Thanos had been suspicious from day one, and while people dismissed him at first, everything began to make sense as Myung-gi's actions grew darker. By the time Squid Game Season 3 reached its climax, Myung-gi had officially turned into one of the most cold-hearted characters in the franchise. What made it even more horrifying was the fact that he didn't go down in one big explosion of evil. Instead, his transformation was slow and subtle. It started when he joined Namgyu in brutally eliminating weaker players during the hide-and-seek round. At first, it looked like he was doing it to survive, but then it became clear he enjoyed it. He relished the power, the strategy, and most importantly, the growing prize money. And if that wasn't enough proof that he had lost all humanity, there was the shocking moment in the final level of the game, when he was willing to kill his own unborn baby to ensure his win. This wasn't just a moment of desperation. It was the ultimate sign that Myung-gi had fully surrendered to greed. He had completely lost his moral compass. Once a YouTuber who wanted fame and fortune, now he was a murderer ready to destroy the one piece of goodness he had left, his child. It was only thanks to Ji-hun that the baby was saved. In a poetic way, Ji-hun represented everything Myung-gi had lost: the ability to care about others, the bravery to sacrifice for someone else, and the strength to resist greed. Looking back at Season 3 as a whole, Myung-gi's story hits hard because it's a perfect cautionary tale. He's not a cartoon villain. He's a reflection of what happens when someone allows ambition to completely take over. In the early stages, he was just like many others, desperate, scared, and hoping for a second chance. But instead of using that chance to change, he dug deeper into the same lies, the same selfish patterns. Even in moments where he could have done the right thing, like when he had a chance to support Junhee or step away from shady strategies, he chose the darker path. Every time. The creators of Squid Game have always used the series to show how the real-world systems and values can be deadly. Myung-jae fits perfectly into this theme. He represents the people who manipulate others for profit, who prioritize money over morality, and who believe they can escape consequences as long as they come out rich in the end. His story also mirrors real-life crypto scams and influencer culture, where people with platforms often abuse their influence for personal gain, leaving their followers in the dust. In a strange way, Thanos, who was never a hero himself, saw the truth before anyone else. Thanos may have had his own flaws, but he understood that people like Myung-jae weren't just victims of the system. They were creators of chaos in it. His initial bullying wasn't fair, but it wasn't without reason. Myung-jae ended up proving him right in the worst way possible. By the end, viewers couldn't help but think, maybe Thanos wasn't being paranoid. Maybe he was just the only one paying attention. The character arc of player 333 is one of the most powerful and disturbing transformations in Squid Game. It's tragic not because he was ever a good man, but because he had so many chances to do better and chose not to. He wasn't forced into evil. He welcomed it. And that's what makes him so terrifying. His story warns us that sometimes the worst villains are the ones who smile the brightest and act the most innocent, hiding their true intentions until it's too late. Thankfully, the series doesn't let him get away with it. The ending brings closure, not by giving him redemption but by showing that people like him eventually get exposed. His betrayal of Junhee, his manipulation of the system, and his willingness to kill all came back to haunt him. Even in a brutal world like Squid Game, where rules are twisted and survival is everything, there's still a line, and Myung-jae crossed it far too many times. As fans await what comes next in Squid Game, one thing is for sure. Player 333 will go down as one of the most unforgettable and chilling characters in the series. His arc reminded us that not all monsters wear masks. Some wear smiles, make YouTube videos, and talk about opportunity. But in the end, when you strip all that away, you see them for what they truly are.